Hey, scholars! Welcome to Mathora, where learning is made clear. Here are 3 ways to study math that actually work. Here's tip number 1. Learn the language. If math looks like a foreign language, that means you're missing vocabulary. You can't solve what you don't understand. Here are the most common words that you're going to see within your instructions. It's really important that you know what these words mean in order to reach the correct answer. Evaluate is not the same as simplify. Simplify is not the same as solve. Solving requires knowing formulas like area, and factoring is not the same as any of these words on the screen. Here's another way to learn the language. It's really important that you know what the equation says in English or whatever language you may speak. Here it says x divided by 6 plus 2 equals -10. Whenever you read the problem correctly, it gives you hints of how to go about solving the problem. If you read this as x over 6 plus 2, you don't understand that at some point you're going to have to deal with the division sign. Some people see this as a fraction, some people don't even understand what this means. So it's really important that you understand how to read the numbers in the equation as well. Tip number 2, break it down all the way. Every hard math problem is just smaller skills stacked on top of each other. For example, here we have a problem. Let's practice tip number 1 and read this correctly. 3 times the quantity of 2 squared minus 5. In order to solve this problem, you will need to understand order of operations, exponents, subtraction with integers, and multiplication with integers. So let's go ahead and break this problem down. First, according to order of operations, we must focus on the parentheses and simplify the exponent first. So whatever is inside the parentheses, we also have to do order of operations again. So it's kind of like we start over almost. So inside of the parentheses, the first thing I see that we need to solve is the exponent. 2 squared is 4. So now inside of the parentheses, it says 4 minus 5. Then we must subtract within the parentheses. We cannot move on just yet. We have to simplify what's inside of the parentheses in order to solve. You see those keywords coming into play? So now inside of the parentheses, we have 4 minus 5, and 4 minus 5 is -1. This is where subtraction with integers matters. 4 minus 5. Some people might say, oh, it's just 1, switch the numbers around. You cannot do that. You have a positive 4 minus 5, so that means you started off with 4 and you're taking away more than what you had, so therefore this is how we get -1. So last, we multiply for our final answer. Once again, it's really important that you know how to read this because it says 3 times -1. Some people might see that as 3 minus 1. This is why tip number 1 is so important. So we have 3 times -1, and that's going to give you -3, which that's where multiplication with integers come into play. If you understand how to break down a problem and you understand how to read the problem, then you are much closer to actually solving the problem correctly. My tip number 3, to practice like an athlete. An athlete doesn't become great by studying the playbook. They study the playbook to understand what to do, but they become great by practicing the plays. Your brain is a muscle, and your brain builds skill, aka muscle, through repetition and variation. Repetition is doing the skill over and over again. Variation is seeing the skill in different forms. As a teacher, I've heard it way too many times. You didn't teach us this. We didn't go over this in the lecture. It was so much harder on the test. Well, on the test, I'm giving you different variations of what I taught you. I gave you the basics, and now it's your job to take the basics and apply it to harder looking problems. So it's really important that you take responsibility of your own learning and start to practice the difficult problems by using the basics of what your teacher taught you. So here's how I recommend you practice. Option 1, practice for 30 minutes a day. Within those 30 minutes, if you're only getting 1 to 2 problems done, they're correct though. You're spending way too much time. That means you don't understand the skill just yet. So I recommend that you practice that skill again and again and again until you're reaching between 8 and 10 problems correctly. Option 2, practice 10 problems a day within that same skill. Within those 10 problems, if you're not getting them correct, I recommend that you stay on that skill. If you are getting 8 to 10 problems correct, I recommend that you move on to another skill. If you're disciplined and you can do this on your own, I recommend starting with Khan Academy. It's completely free. If you need someone to walk you through understanding the language, breaking it down, and practicing with structure, sign up for my private tutoring at www.officialmathora.com. Bye, scholars!